What's up guys, Josh Luck here, and I just hit a huge milestone in my Etsy store. I just made my 100th sale, which I never thought I would get to this point, so I'm super grateful, but I wanted to make this video to lay out some tips and things I did to get to this point, so hopefully if you haven't hit 100 sales already, you can as well, so we can all grow together. And I wanted to make this video because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who haven't made a few sales yet, and they really want to get to the 100 sales benchmark. However, a lot of videos on YouTube are people with 100 sales a day, or like $10,000 a week, and they're all saying like do this so you can have a successful shop. But the problem with that is when you have 100 sales a day, yeah, you have a successful store, but when you're just getting started and you only have a few sales, some of the tactics you use to make 100 sales a day will be a bit different than what you do when you're just getting started. And getting that level, which I hope to be at one day, it takes years of marketing. You have multiple streams of traffic flowing into your store, so it takes a lot of time to build up. And some of the things they talk about in those videos may be a bit different than people who are just getting started or they have a smaller store. So I'm hoping this video will be more relatable since I'm kind of at the 100 level, not small, but still not as big as some of the huge stores on YouTube. So some of the tips I talk about here hopefully will be more applicable and help you get to the same point as well, so we can all grow together and hopefully get to 1,000 sales, and then 10,000 and a million, the sky's the limit. So let's get started and we'll talk about some of these tips that helped me get to this point. Alright, so we're here in Etsy, and this is my shop, Waypoint Printables, and as you can see I just hit 107 sales, which honestly I am super grateful for because I never really thought I would be to this point, because I have a full-time job, I'm doing this YouTube channel now, and then I've always had multiple projects working on the side. So when I started the shop, I didn't really expect it to go anywhere, and it was kind of just to play with and see how it goes. But I'm very happy to say after it's been a year and a half to be at this point, and I hope maybe in a month from now I'll be at 1,000 and so on and so on. But anyways, I just want to talk about some ways that I got to this point. And there'll be some tips that I don't talk about in this video that are successful, but I'm not going to talk about because I didn't do them. Such as social media. Social media is an excellent way to drive traffic to your shop, and a lot of people have a lot of success on social media and get a lot of sales from it. But like I said, this video was kind of a, or this, not this video, this store was kind of a side project for myself. So to run a social media, I just didn't have time for it. So all of these tips will be things that I did directly on Etsy that you can do yourself. So let's get started with the first tip. So the first tip is kind of like the low-hanging fruit, the things you can do right now that can dramatically help your chances of getting sales. And that is creating a good branding and shop presence for your store. So having a good banner, a logo, matching color schemes throughout your listings, a full description and full shop policies. Filling out all this information really helps you in the eyes of Etsy. It helps improve the quality of your score. And when it comes to Etsy SEO, Etsy actually has a shop quality score that's on the back end. You don't really see it, but it's part of their algorithm. And when you fill out all your shop policies, and I have a video on privacy policy, I'll tag it up here in the corner so you can make one yourself. But when you fill out all this information, it increases your shop score and helps Etsy boost your shop because they see it as a more legitimate store than someone who doesn't have all this information filled out. So right off the bat, it's very important to have all your stuff filled out. And then if you're not a graphic designer or you don't have access to programs for a branding, I actually have a video talking about how to get a free brand. I'll post that as well using a website called coolors.com for your color scheme and then Canva for your logo. You can get a really nice free brand palette for your shop so you can really make your foundation really strong. Alright, so the second tip that I did is very important for getting sales. So right now, I only have 9 listings. I really want to start adding more since this has kind of taken off. But when I first started, I just kind of did stuff here and there. But what I did when I first started, I didn't really know what exactly my audience wanted. I knew what niche I wanted to be in. Oh, and that's a good point. You want to make sure your store has a single niche. You don't want to sell necklaces and pet supplies and printables and all this variety of stuff. You want to make sure your store has one single niche. So mine is printables, things they can just digitally download, but I didn't know exactly what would be popular. So what I did was created a small variety, and as you can see, these are 99 cents, $1.99, $2.99, so super cheap. But I did personal information, password tracking, fitness, finance, weekly planner, and kind of did a variety of different things. And what I did, or what I noticed, was I wouldn't get very many sales and all this other stuff, but the personal information, this 99-cent one, was where most of my traffic was coming from. And that will be most likely true for you as well. Etsy, when you have 10 listings, odds are only one of the two of those listings will drive most of your sales. So it's good to see trial and error of what works and what doesn't work, because what I did was, when I was getting sales for 99 cents, obviously that's a low profit margin, but what I did was I expanded upon this and created this emergency binder for $15.99. And now, even though this is the most expensive thing in my shop, it's where most of my sales come from. So higher profit margins, more sales, more success for my shop. And this came from me learning what was the best. So this can be applicable to your shop. So let's say you're doing necklaces and you don't know what style will be the best. Just do a variety, see what works, and then when you start seeing sales here and there, expand upon what works and create more listings similar to what works. You can even bump up the profit margin, and hopefully it will kind of snowball into more sales overall. And I know that's kind of difficult to explain because it's more of a trial and error thing, and it's not something you can do where next week you're going to make 100 sales. It's something that takes time. And I've had this shop for about a year and a half, so this trial and error came over a year time period. So it's definitely slow going, but it's very successful for small shops who don't have a lot of traffic, because you can really punch in the things that work and kind of ignore the things that don't work. Because there's a principle in marketing called the 80-20 rule. 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your products. So you don't want to focus all your time on the other 80% of your products. You really want to focus on the 20% that work so you can multiply and expand upon your success. And then the next tip that I have for you is over here in the back end of things. Etsy has paid ads that you can run directly on Etsy. So I wouldn't recommend running Facebook or Google ads, simply because they're more expensive and there's more targeting that goes into it, especially if you're a beginner. Don't waste your money on those kind of ads, because Etsy has ads that are directly integrated into their platform. So if we go over here to marketing and Etsy ads and click on that, we can kind of see how it's set up. And in the beginning, I didn't really like Etsy ads because, again, you can't target. All it is promoting your product. When people search something related, it just moves it higher up. And when I first started, like before, all my products were like $1. So running $1 a day on Etsy ads and getting one sale a week, that'd be like -$6. And I'm like, forget this. This is not a big deal. So if you have products with a really low profit margin, I don't know if Etsy ads would be the best route for you. Maybe instead you want to create more high profit margin products and create it for that. So that $15.99 listing that I had earlier, let me just move my face. As you can see, the only thing I run Etsy ads to is this $15.99 product, because I know even if I run $1 a day Etsy ads, if I only make one sale a week, then I'm still profiting $6, as opposed to if I run a $1 listing. So I would recommend running Etsy ads, but only for specific products that can turn a high profit margin. And the reason I say this is because they're pretty cheap and they're not like ultra successful, but they definitely will drive traffic to your store. So they can definitely help overall. So what I would recommend doing is just running like $1 a day on your high profit margin products and kind of see how it does. And if you have a lot of success, you can maybe bump it up to $2, and as you make more profit, put more into your marketing budget and expand upon it that way. But like as you can see, in the last 30 days, I've made 7 orders with $100 of revenue, but only spent $28. So I've profited about $75 just from $1 a day. So play with it, see if it works, but I would recommend running these Etsy ads on your high profit margin things. All right, and the final tip I have for you is optimize your listings. And I know there's a whole bunch of other tips that other people use, but again, I'm just talking about what I personally used in my free time to get my first 100 sales. So hopefully some of these things can help. And then obviously I've got some other videos on my channel that have some other tips that if you want to subscribe, check those out, that'd be awesome. But let's move on to our last tip. So you really want to brush up on your SEO because that will drive most of your traffic to your store. So in your title, you really want to make sure you have a keyword dense title. So like emergency binder printable, emergency printable medical binder, emergency planner, family printable. A lot of keywords that people could search for that could link to my shop. Now it's okay to keyword stuff your title, but when it comes to your description, you really want to be careful about keyword stuffing because Etsy can see that and maybe not show it as much. So you really want to integrate your keywords into your description and have a really healthy description about what your product is. So as you can see in my description, I have emergency, family emergency binder. So a few littered here and there, but they're integrated into the content so it flows properly. And then also within my description, I have specs. You really want to make sure you add specs, and so your customer can know exactly what they're getting. A description, like I already talked about. You want to include what's included so they can know what they're buying. And then down here, I would always recommend linking to your other products. This is probably the most important thing you can do with your description, because if someone sees your listing and they don't like that, let's say you have necklaces and rings and they pull upon your necklace listing, maybe they want rings. They can go down here and click on it and stay within your store. So even if you didn't get a sale on this product, you can get one on the one that's linked. So always helpful. But let's go back up here to the top. And then in addition to having a fully fleshed out description with a bunch of keywords, you want to make sure your listing photos are properly optimized and high quality. When people search on the Etsy marketplace, the first thing they'll see is photos. And as you can see, these are only photos and they don't even have titles. So you really want to make sure your photos do your product justice, because most of the time that's what people will see first, and it will determine whether they click on it or not. So you really want to make sure you have a really optimized header image that shows exactly what the product is, and then the subsequent images, you want to make sure you have any details that come along with the product. Like mine, I have the specs and what's included with my printable, but if you have a physical product, maybe have some different angles. So let me click on this one, for example, and I hope, fingers crossed, yes, okay. So as you can see, the hero image showing me what it is, and then other images showing me without the metal with more detailed look at the wood. You have different angles, you have specs, you have what it looks like with a metal. So as you can see, they have multiple images showing what the product is in detail. So you really want to make sure that your photos do your product justice. So I hope this video helped. I know a lot of these things were kind of easier and some will take more time, but it's what I did to get 100 sales, so hopefully it will help you as well. And then if you want more tips, more in-depth on some of these items, please subscribe. I've got more videos on Etsy, and although I'm still a new channel, I post twice a week, so I'll have stuff coming in the near future and rolling out constantly. So thanks for watching. I hope this video helped. If it did, leave a thumbs up, and I will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.